Welcome to This is Getting Old, Moving Towards an Age-Friendly World. I'm your host, Melissa Batchelor, and today we're going to be talking about Alzheimer's disease and living alone. 4 signs that someone may not be safe to be at home alone and what you can do about it. So a lot of people have asked me, what are some of the signs that that maybe my mom isn't doing as well as she's telling me? I think she might be experiencing some memory problems. And the problem is when someone lives alone and you don't live close by to them, it is easier for them to cover up what's really going on. And so you may have to get, a trusted friend or another family member to check in on them if you can't be there in person. If you are concerned about someone living alone and whether or not they need help, here are 4 things that you can think about and questions you can ask yourself. Um, to help guide your thinking about, do we need to really dig a little bit deeper to find out if they really are okay? So number one, is there a change in phone calls? So when you talk on the phone, does the person seem to ramble or repeat information? Do they forget what they were saying and then they can't pick back up on the train of thought when you provide a few details as to what they were saying? Do they repeat the same story every time you call as if it was brand new news? Or are that you getting fewer phone calls from someone who used to call you regularly? Are you getting too many calls from someone who didn't call you that often? Or are the calls coming in at weird times of the day or night? The second thing, are there changes in emailing or with their writing? So if a person happened to be on social media or they emailed you, have they stopped doing that? When they write something, does it appear like they're rambling or that's in a way that's uncharacteristic for the person? Or if they send you a handwritten note, is there a change in their handwriting? And again, these are just things to keep in mind. It doesn't, they don't, one of these doesn't mean that there is a memory problem. It just means you need to look a little deeper. The third thing, which in my opinion is a little bit more indicative that there are some changes going on, and that is, are there changes in their personality or habits? So have they become uncharacteristically negative or pessimistic? Have they stopped going out to social events or family events when they used to do that? Do they seem more sad and withdrawn? And have they isolated themselves? In the early phases of this disease, people often do know that they're having issues with their memory and with their thinking. And so they will isolate themselves because they don't want other people to find out. Also, another thing, are they neglecting themselves? Self-neglect is a real thing. And so maybe they're not showering or getting dressed when they used to, or maybe they're not brushing their hair or their teeth. And this is where having a trusted neighbor or other family member to check in can be helpful. And the fourth thing, are there changes in their meals or their medications? So if a person's missing medications or they're taking the wrong medications, and as a clinician, unplanned weight loss was often the first sign that a person was experiencing memory issues, and it's because they're forgetting to eat and they're missing meals. The other thing to think about is when they are offered a hot meal, do they prefer sweets to that? Or are we seeing things like they're forgetting to turn off the oven or the stove? And all of those things become major safety issues. So pay attention to that particular one. So what can you do? Well, if your loved one is experiencing a problem in one or more of these areas, it would be wise to talk to their primary care provider. They're likely not safe or they're becoming unsafe to live alone. And these signs actually could be indicative of a major safety issue. So it's better to address it sooner rather than later so that you can avoid a serious or even a fatal accident. You can contact your local Alzheimer's Association chapter or your local area agency on aging. These 2 organizations are typically going to know who can help your family and who can help you provide care from a distance if you don't live close by, and they can give you valuable information and connect you to services. So thank you for watching this video and listening to the podcast today. And I hope that these 4 signs, questions, and recommendations have been helpful to you.